And hello, and welcome to day two of BB Dev Days. We'll get a chance to hear us talk about all the key solution and innovation announcements, all led by Blackbaud's product and technology leaders. Now, as we get started for today, I want to apologize to anyone who experienced issues getting into our afternoon sessions yesterday. We worked around the clock to address some of the technical difficulties. And should you experience any difficulties today, don't hesitate to let us know. Go back to the agenda builder. You'll see a button that will trigger a notification, and we will hop right on it. Now, quick introductions. Hi, everyone. I'm Linton Myers, and I have the privilege of managing innovation and incubation within Blackbaud, which is often the exploration of things that are new, which is really what we're talking about today. I want to welcome all of you, the tech visionaries that are helping us explore all of the new and upcoming possibilities. And for today, we'll really be exploring that from the technology side. We'll be talking about integrations. You hear Sky API. You'll be talking about tools, things like low code technologies such as the Microsoft Power Platform. We'll be discussing extensibility, how you can build in and around Blackbaud products, and you'll hear us reference a lot our ecosystem. So, welcome also to all of the partners that are here today. Because, yes, with science fiction, there's endless possibilities. That's what this is about, exploring possibilities. But it's your idea, your exploration, because with your vision, there's endless possibilities. So I want to welcome to stage Blackbaud's Chief Technology Officer, Kevin McDearis, who's going to kick this off from a Blackbaud product perspective and talk about our visions and how that turns into endless possibilities. So welcome, Kevin.
Thanks, Linton. It is so wonderful to have a few moments with all of you today. It's an honor. I love the theme around endless possibilities. I do want to say first, though, how grateful we are, and certainly I am, to have this innovative group working every day to fuel, enable, and amplify positive social impact. And with those endless possibilities, there's really nothing we can't do for this wonderful community that we all serve. This community is creative. I mean, we've seen it year after year, solving problems. And quite frankly, it's an honor for all of us and a privilege to serve you. As we look at my first and only slide, you'll be happy to hear. Before I focus on sort of the what represented here on the slide that are aspects or conceptual aspects of our technology strategy, I do want to talk a little bit about the how. So when we launched our effort years ago, as we began to journey towards a platform first mentality around Sky, we knew it was going to be a journey. We've seen this group grow exponentially over the years. Again, incredible to see everyone here today. And it's been one where we've seen the reach of our platform expand across our offerings. Over recent years, we've made significant changes, though, to how we work. So we've improved time spent on innovation and capabilities that you'll hear about in a few minutes from Sudip, Andy, Carrie, and Ben. We've made improvements to our processes, our organizational structure, our tools, not to mention being blessed with an extremely skilled and talented team that are helping us better serve this community of employees, customers, and partners. And these improvements have included changes to our product development lifecycle to be more responsive and be more predictable. Our software development lifecycle, providing you with greater visibility to our roadmaps and delivery schedules. Via changes in how we're even organized more recently in the last year, bringing together talented technical and business resources from across Blackbaud and our broader partner ecosystem to be more thoughtful about the full journey of deployment, development, support, and building. Listening to you, making it easier for you to be part of this broader ecosystem, regardless of whether you're an employee, a customer, or a partner. And then improving the speed of overall delivery so that we can get value to this, again, incredible community that we serve every day. And then improving access to those capabilities, whether that's user experience, open APIs, developer tools, all of that every day to allow us as a group to more eagerly amplify capabilities across this community. So certainly Sudip, Andy, Carrie, and Ben are going to be sharing more details. But my summary would be, we're focused, we're here for you, and we're focused on making it easier for this community to amplify impact, to operate at increasing levels of efficiency, and to be truly connected within your direct community and across this incredible ecosystem so that we can amplify that impact across social good. And with that, I am incredibly honored and privileged to introduce our Chief Product Officer, Sudip Datta.
Thank you, Kevin. I am delighted and honored to speak to this wonderful community, which has really more than doubled over the last few years. It's my third year talking at this event, and I can see the community members joining from the different parts of the world, from Texas, from New Hampshire. I could see the Celtics image, and I'm neutral to the Celtics versus Mavs that's coming up, but really, really delighted to speak at this event. Going forward, our roadmap is really anchored around the three key themes. Connected systems to drive impact. We are intuitively connecting the workflows for individual business functions, integrating them out of box, taking the headache and the labor out of our customers' hand. The second theme is really intelligence for good. We are making AI more accessible, powerful, and responsible for the social good community. And if you are following the news bites, we have been nominated in 3 categories at the recent Data IQ Awards for AI. And we are one of the, if not the only, software provider to make it in 3 categories. And the third theme is open APIs, flexible ecosystem. So what do these mean? If we move forward and look at our overall product portfolio comprise system of records, system of engagement, system of intelligence, and system of productivity. As I said, today customers are incurring both cost and time in terms of stitching these together. Right? Some of them have adopted best of breed products from multiple vendors. Some of them use our products only, but still spend a considerable amount of time in stitching these solutions together. So our connected system strategy is all about integrating them out of box so that customers and our partners can really focus on the outcomes. Talking of specific examples, if we look at essential software for nonprofits, all of you are familiar that we are the leader in fundraising and donor management, where we have the system of records, whether it is Razor's Edge, NXT, or Blackbaud CRM, or AllTrue. And those are overlaid with our online giving forms, which we recently released as optimized donation forms, the leading donation forms out there. And the donation forms support the best-in-class UI and experience for maximizing the donations from the various contributors. But once the donations get into the system, we have our analytics engine that kicks in the donor and prospect research, which gleans really the insights out of the donor records and provides advisories to our users. And then we have the leading fund accounting solution out there for financial management, how to disperse the donations, how to manage the flow of money and the payables. And all of these are backed by our payment and purchasing services. So this is what I call the connected systems, right? When we think about Blackbaud, we have a product portfolio which is very, very unique, which is richer than any other out there in the market. And the onus is really on us in making them work together. Talking of AI, we are adopting the ethos of responsible and ethical AI. We are extremely cognizant of the community that we serve, and we are sensitive to the fact that this community is about social good. So we are being extra cautious in rolling out our AI solutions. Having said that, that cautiousness is not leading to any dearth of agility. We have rolled out several features surrounding generative AI, and Andy Snyder is going to talk about the Blackbaud Copilot project, and you will see AI being introduced more and more into our product. And this is consistent across nonprofits and K-12 schools and corporate impact. Last but not the least, the flexible and extensible ecosystem. Our coverage of Sky APIs has been increasing over the years, and I'm not going product by product, but if you are the user of one or more of these products, you must have invariably seen the expansion of the surface area of these APIs to support the pro code, the low code developers, as well as the no code developers out there. And with that, let me hand over to Andy Snyder to talk more about our flexible ecosystem and our extensibility. Over to you, Andy.
Hello, everyone. I am very excited to be here among my people at BB Dev Days. My name is Andy Snyder, and I am the head of the Platform Analytics and Design Group at Blackbaud. And I'm here to talk to you today about some exciting things that we've done and some exciting things that we are about to do. But where I'd like to start is talking a little bit more about connected systems. Sudip mentioned the idea of connecting those workflows that people want to do across all the systems. So whether it's donation to disbursement, we want to be able to empower that whole process. One of the ways that that occurs is creating consistent experiences. And if you've been with us through this journey, you've seen some of our products continue to look and feel more connected. But it goes deeper than just that. It goes deeper than, do the buttons look similar? Do the menus look similar? It goes to, are the workflows similar? Can I get a consistent way that I perform a task throughout the system? Are those design patterns the same? Well, what we've done over the last couple of years is the same tools that we use internally for creating our experiences and the same patterns we've made available publicly. And if you've spent time looking at the Sky UX design system, you can see all of that is available. And as we continue to think about providing these cross-cutting workflows that only Blackbaud can deliver, it's going to be critical that our customers stay in those consistent and same experiences. And that's going to apply as well to individuals who are extending and augmenting our solution. So it's really important and critical for us to give you the tools to be able to accomplish that. Well, Sky UX gets you that consistency. It's a combination of components and patterns and practices. It's open source. It's available to everyone. And for anyone who's new to Blackbaud and hasn't had a chance to go check it out, you definitely should. And for anyone who's been around for a while and maybe has felt intimidated by Sky UX, I've got some good news. This Sky UX as well does the difficult work behind the scenes of continuing to stay on contemporary technology with recent Angular versions, and has a pretty standard release cadence of about every 6 months. And we've recently put out Sky UX 10. Now, what is Sky UX? And let's dig just a little bit deeper inside. I mentioned that there's patterns and practices, but one of the things I want to focus on today is about some of the Sky UX components. There are over 80 different components that are available if you were to go and look at the website, from things like text boxes and buttons, all the way to more complicated page layouts and things like that we call action hubs internally. Anything that you need to build consistent experiences that are going to look and feel like the rest of our products. And these components handle complexities like accessibility to dramatically lower the amount of work that you have to do. And it might seem like I'm talking about things that are pro code, and you could probably argue, and you might be able to make a good argument historically, that might be true. But one of the things that I want to talk about today is how we've been investing in reducing that complexity. And so something that you might or might not have seen is we are beginning to introduce easy modes inside of our Sky UX components. What this means is historically, if you had wanted to create components that take advantage of all of the capabilities inside of Sky UX, so validation and errors and fully accessible, you might have had to write quite a bit of code in order to pull that off. And what the team has done is they've taken a lot of those best practices and squished them in and condensed them down so that you can get from things like 96 lines of code for input box down to 9 that are still going to be able to achieve all of the same levels of accessibility and validation in 10% of the lines of code. So this is something that we've invested in. We're going to continue to introduce more easy modes across Sky UX in the coming quarters, and this is going to substantially reduce the amount of work that it takes for folks who are getting interested in trying to extend and create these solutions. But in addition to Sky UX, I'm also excited to talk about some more connectors that are coming for Power Platform. Power Platform is one of the ways that a lot of developers interact with the surface area of our products. These have existed for Razor's Edge and XT for quite a while. Many of you have leveraged them to create amazing automation and solutions to help your own organizations. Well, that same kind of opportunity is also on the way and getting built for FENXT as well. This was recently talked about in the product update briefing for anyone who was able to attend, but the team is really focused on bringing you connectors for areas inside of accounts payable, general ledger. This is really going to extend the possibilities for those of you who are looking to create low code and no code solutions for that product. And lastly, don't want to ignore AI. Sudip talked about it a little bit before. Blackbaud has for quite a while and continues to invest in intelligent capabilities. We're working on features like Copilot that are going to allow you to have your own assistant within our products. And by all of you leveraging and using our extensibility endpoints, as you get data into the system, our intelligent capabilities are going to be able to operate on top of that and make your products that much smarter. But to talk a little bit more about intelligence for good and our strategy there, I would like to introduce our Chief Data Officer, Carrie Cobb.
Thanks, Andy. And thank you to everyone who is joining the session today. As Sudip and Andy mentioned, AI is a key theme in our roadmap. And AI is such an exciting topic, a topic that we're having everywhere, even probably at your kitchen table. And technological breakthroughs like generative AI have the potential to transform the way that we work. But navigating tech frontiers is also a serious responsibility, and we're committed to harnessing the potential of AI in a way that is responsible and that ensures that the social impact community benefits from accessible and powerful AI-driven capabilities. But what does that mean to us? It means that we're committed to being accessible. So opening doors to AI adoption through building complete, ready-made AI solutions, accelerating the availability of AI-driven partner solutions in our Blackbaud marketplace, and providing education and training to equip the social impact community with the skills needed to successfully adopt all of these AI tools. We're committed to delivering powerful AI solutions that build on the right data and real expertise. So our AI strategy draws on the world's most robust philanthropic database, powerful systems of intelligence, and deep sector expertise. And we also believe in our responsible AI. And that means prioritizing a trustworthy approach to AI grounded in fairness, inclusiveness, reliability, and trust. Because at the end of the day, our AI strategy is about accomplishing one thing: moving your mission forward. Now, you'll see the strategy demonstrated within our systems of engagement. So capturing the most usable data in every single interaction. Systems of record, so keeping constituent data accessible and compliant. Systems of intelligence, so adding health components and new insights in all of your key workflows. And finally, systems of productivity, so enabling thoughtful, intentional actions on our insights like Blackbaud Copilot that Andy talked about. Now, this group in particular knows that tools by themselves don't solve business problems, right? It's when you combine data with AI and the expertise that you achieve real world results. And we believe that the social impact sector can go further and faster as we harness this rapidly expanding potential of AI together responsibly. So that means defining, deploying, and using AI to drive value while mitigating risk requires an action plan that moves from commitments and frameworks to actual action on the ground. So I thought it would be helpful if I shared a few examples in how we've leaned into long-standing trustworthy AI building blocks like governance, policy, empowerment, and process here at Blackbaud. So first, we've established an AI council to ensure our AI initiatives align with corporate goals and values, to provide guidance and promote best practice, and ensure compliance with security, legal, and responsible AI standards. We've not only established policies and standards here to harness that transformational potential of AI, but also mitigating that risk. But we've also built toolkits so that every employee understands their own responsibilities and the weight in which they carry when they utilize these types of tools and methodologies. We foster analytic communities throughout the company that are trained, coached, supported, and governed along their journey. And that could be through curated learning libraries, skills initiatives, and guided experimentation cohorts. And finally, we've democratized data skills through common frameworks, common tools and methodologies, and even centralized controls. So a whole lot happening here. And I am energized by the endless possibilities that Linton talked about earlier and that we've showcased across Sky UX and AI, as well as the next discussion about Sky API. And with that, I'd like to introduce Ben Wong.
Thanks, Carrie. And hello, everyone. It's me again, Ben Wong, your favorite Senior Principal Product Manager for Sky Developer and the Blackbaud Marketplace. So in my session yesterday, I was on stage with Nina and Liz to talk about the power of extensibility and how the developer tools that we provide have no value whatsoever without the Sky developer community that we have here at BB Dev Days. So today I'm going to go through some of the recent Sky developer updates in just a tiny bit more detail. And I hope that sparks some curiosity for you to go and explore the possibilities. So we're going to start with some of the exciting things the grant-making team have been working on to supercharge your grant-making. And we love to celebrate when a new product joins the Sky API family, as Alltrue and Blackbaud CRM did last year. So earlier this year, the grant-making team released their very first Sky API. So Blackbaud grant-making, like many of our products, have an older API that's being modernized. And they're doing that by using the Sky developer platform so that developers have the same experience when integrating with other products that have the Sky API. So far, the team have released the GET and POST endpoints for payments, organizations, and contacts. And they have the GET endpoints for requirements, requests, and activities. But the POST endpoints for those are in progress, and those will be coming soon. So the grant-making API is currently in a preview or a beta state, which means that during this time, the team are actively taking feedback. And they've already been making improvements based on that feedback by adding new properties for adding and updating dates. So what typically happens after that is the feedback starts dying down, and when they see no foreseeable breaking changes, then the API will move out of this preview phase and it will be in general availability, or GA. But if you're interested in using this API, I encourage you not to wait and go ahead and use it and provide the team feedback so that they can keep on improving it. And I'm also super excited that the team have already started working on making Sky add-ins, which is our UI extensibility framework that enables developers to extend the user interface of our products. So within grant making, there'll be a tile and button extension points on the dashboard and workspace pages, making it possible for developers to present auxiliary data from other systems while keeping the user in context within the Blackbaud grant-making product. And of course, an important part of the Sky developer platform includes the Blackbaud Marketplace. So the team are working with the partner community to create specific grant-making solutions that will be available on the marketplace so that customers can discover solutions without needing to build their own. So any partners out there, if you're interested in serving the Blackbaud grant-making customer base, start checking out the developer tools available and get in the marketplace early with your grant-making solution. All right, next. So you may have heard that Query is heading to WebView for RE and FE. And I know so many of you are pretty excited about that. But what makes me excited about this body of work is that the teams literally took an API-first approach and made the API available first, meaning that the Query API is available in preview before the WebView Query UI is released, which is amazing. And I know this is going to be so appreciated by the Sky developer community because the Query API has been the most highly requested API for many, many years. And in that time, developers have had to use all kinds of methods for doing large-scale data selection and extraction, which I know takes or can take many requests to different Sky APIs, which wasn't very scalable. So I'm happy to say that the Query API solves a lot of these problems. And the team have done a really fantastic job with the design of the API so that developers can access existing queries or build brand new queries. Now, the API is currently still in preview, which means that your environment needs to be enabled to get access, but the team are super close to making it available for all of RE and FE customers, hopefully just in a matter of weeks. And then coming soon, hopefully after that, shortly after that, we'll be releasing some Power Platform connectors for the Query API, making all of that functionality available in a super user-friendly Power Automate interface for all the low coders out there. So for more details, I hope you were able to go to some of the sessions about the Query API. If not, definitely go back and watch the sessions on demand because this API has some unique features that you're going to want to learn about. All right, so another highly anticipated new API is the membership API. And again, this is a great example of an API-first approach in the development cycle, which means that customers are seeing membership functionality in WebView and the membership functionality in the API being released at the same time. So you can see in the screenshots there, you can add new memberships to a constituent record in the UI, and you can do the same thing via the API, which means that it can be done at a much larger scale in the fraction of the time. So this API is released in preview. So again, we encourage developers to use it, flood us with feedback so that we can make it even better. All right, next, we introduced some greater controls for giving users permissions to manage applications in the Blackbaud Marketplace. And this applies to all the Sky API products. So previously, only an admin user was able to connect apps to the environment, which was very limiting because you don't always want to make someone a super admin of the product or the organization admin just to manage apps in the marketplace. So with the introduction of the dedicated marketplace admin role, you can assign any user to be the person who can connect apps, disconnect apps, or approve any data scope changes that developers may have made to their apps. And since these permissions are defined on a granular level, you can fine-tune the permissions and create your own custom roles if you want to further limit the permissions for a particular user. So that gives you the ultimate in flexibility to respect the principle of least privilege, which I'll be talking more about in my session on cybersecurity for low coders this afternoon. All right, and lastly, we have an update to Adaptive Cards, which is an open source JSON standard created by Microsoft for creating lightweight user interfaces that can be deployed across platforms. Now, this is particularly useful to low coders, but even for pro coders, front-end web development is a bit of a specialist skill that they may not have, or they may not want to spend the time creating their own UI from scratch. And as Andy mentioned, SkyUX does have an easy mode now, but I saw in some of the comments that some of you want an even easier mode. So that's where Adaptive Cards comes in, or can help. So a card is basically a JSON object that describes some content. And Microsoft even has an online tool to help you author that JSON if you don't want to write that from scratch. But when the card is put in a host application, it inherits the native look and feel of the app that it's loaded in. So the multi-card interface enables the card to be replaced with a new card, which means that it can respond to changes, such as when the user inputs some data, it can respond with a success message, or it can show the updated fields in a new card, making the whole experience a lot more dynamic. And that's all I have time for today. I've really enjoyed sharing all these innovation updates with you. And I'll hand it back to Linton to close us out. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Ben. And thank you to all of the Blackbaud speakers for today. I want to quickly cover what's next. For those of you who are sticking with us today and going on to our upcoming sessions, let's spend a few moments just updating everyone on what to expect. First, I know this was referenced yesterday. Blackbaud, through the power of our sponsors, you see on the right-hand side of the screen, offers an annual innovation grant program. So if there's anything that you heard about today that triggers a project in your mind that you want support with, your vision, your new endless possibility, please submit it here. These are opportunities for you to work directly with these partners on your idea and bringing it to fruition. So head on down to the link you see at the bottom, right? blk.co, innovation grants. In fact, thank you, Eric. I was just doing the same. We'll put it in chat for everyone to have access to. Please go submit your response and your application. Now, next up, we have today's main stage keynote that really gets into the concept of what's new and next in emerging technologies. Much of what you've heard today is obviously very Blackbaud centric. But what's happening in the rest of the market? Right? What are trends and things that we are seeing and we want to pass down through one of our partners over at Deloitte? Now, for those of you who enjoy music and trivia, our annual DJ and Trivia contest occurs today at 4:30 Eastern. Right? Come back, stay, play with some of the rest of the folks at BB Dev Days for this annual event. And ultimately, I want to thank you. Thank you for coming to these 3 days. Thank you for being part of what's one of my favorite developer experiences of the year, and for being part of this 12,000 plus developer community. So we look forward to seeing you for the rest of the day. And again, please join us at the keynote that's coming up next. Thanks again.